Vic Muniz and Marta Manoujian are both South American artists. Vic Muniz was born in Brazil. Marta Manoujian was born in Argentina. I would like to contrast the performance art of Manoujian and the illusory photographs of Vic Muniz in this presentation. To do that, I'll look into the artists' backgrounds, when they were born, the financial situation of their upbringing. I'll look into the different mediums and techniques they used, whether that be Manoujian's love of textiles and fabrics and her heavy use of those in her art environment rooms, or Manoujian's use of unorthodox materials to create hyper-realistic portraits and then photograph these at different angles to create a completely different picture. This will be done to illustrate the differences between these two artists that come from the same continent of South America, and to show, two vastly different styles and messages that these artists wish to convey in their works. The artists opt for completely different techniques. Muniz is a photographer mainly, and he uses, like I said, unorthodox materials to create pictures. He's typically known for his illusionary pieces. An example of this is his rendition of Andy Warhol's famous Marilyn Monroe portrait. So he uses diamonds to remake the portrait. This illustrates his use of materials that aren't typically used in a regular portrait or painting to either recreate a work or create one of his own. While Manoujian was more known for her sculptures, her performance art, or her art environments, which were these interactive art exhibits that people could walk through and see the art and interact with it. Many of these works used fabrics and textiles of varying colors and patterns. The first of these art environments she made was a mattress padded room that would implement the textiles and fabrics that I mentioned previously, and this would start her rise in fame as a prolific performance artist. Her pieces were not meant to last a long time. They were meant to get old and deteriorate and decay. Many of the original mattress pads, that they don't look anything like they originally did. And that was part of the point of it, is that she believed that the decay of her art was ultimately part of the art and that she didn't want it to stay the same throughout its lifetime. Whereas Muniz would immortalize all of his pieces in photography, and the photography was a big aspect of the work. It showed the artists' differing opinions and how they wanted to create art and how that art should be preserved. Both artists are from South America, but different countries they're in. Manoujian's family were Jewish immigrants from Russia that moved to Argentina in the 1890s. This means that she would be influenced by the Argentinian culture as well as her Jewish heritage. Whereas Muniz was born in Brazil and grew up fairly poor, this would later influence his art and the subjects that he would cover with that art. These two vastly different upbringings can kind of give us a better idea why these artists chose to lift up certain social issues with their art, or why they chose certain techniques and why they could favor certain mediums. As in the case of Manoujian, her father was a tailor, so this can give us a certain background on maybe why she was familiar with fabrics and textiles from a young age and why she ended up favoring those as her medium of choice. Both artists used their art to highlight social issues. Muniz famously went on a trip to St. Kitts, where he encountered the children of plantation workers who were exploited and abused in the process of harvesting sugar. And he has a famous work where he recreated the faces of children he photographed using individual grains of sugar, whereas Marta's works with fabrics and textiles were often a commentary on women's responsibilities in society, because it said that Manoujian's mattress creations are not examples of fine craftsmanship that was associated traditionally with women's work. She instead subverted this idea by making creations that had no functional use. Her work was groundbreaking in the way that it was simply a woman artist creating art for the sake of creating art. These works would later influence feminist artists to take up making art environments and making performance art pieces, plenty of which were directly inspired by groundbreaking work in this medium.